Welcome everyone to another commercial live series presented by Aelius LED. My name is Ryan Kirwan, Chief Executive Officer, and in this series our goal is to bring light to some of our Aelius family members. And today we have Good Buds Company and their co-founder Tyler Rumi. Tyler, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. My pleasure to be here.
Good stuff. And I noticed I called you a co-founder, but you also have an interesting title, Chief Cannabis Officer. I love that twist on the executive titles. What else do you have out there? Chief Cannabis Officer? Do you have any other ones that?
No, that's the only fun one. All the other ones are your same kind of C-suite stuff, but yeah, cannabis is definitely the most fun one.
Yeah, good stuff. It's nice to be the top of the cannabis officer.
Yeah.
A couple of questions I wanted to start out with. I noticed that you've been advocate here in this industry for the past 10 years or so, and started as an MMR patient and worked your way all the way up to the standard LP. Kudos to you for sticking with it when things looked bleak. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey from MMR to today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started cultivating as a designated grower for a few patients back in around 2009, which was when I was kind of first introduced to the Health Canada system and to medical cannabis cultivation. And after doing that for a few years, I had to move around a bit, so I couldn't maintain those licenses. But then when things opened up again and, there's a bit of changes up top, and it looked like cannabis was re-entering the foray, we went and made our application for Good Buds to become a licensed producer.
And you were one of the first at the forefront too, weren't you?
We were the first outdoor license in Canada, which was super exciting because it's definitely a big part of how we cultivate and also just kind of what we do out here. And definitely an early applicant too. But yeah, we're the first outdoor license.
Now, I noticed on your website and some of your summaries, you're also processing. Is that correct, or you outsource that?
No, so we do all that in-house. So we make all our rosin and hash rosin and live rosins in-house.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And I think vertically integrating correctly is the way to go. You don't want to start out too big, and we've seen it, right? History shows that you start too big and you don't learn the ropes, you don't learn the systems, things aren't going to turn out pretty. You are a family-run business. Is it still relatively private, or did you have to bring in any other players?
So we've definitely brought in some investors at a family and friends round, and as well we did like kind of like a seed funding round for sure, and worked with Embark as well on some seed financing. And besides that, though, we're definitely still like a family-run business and kind of family at the core of everything that we do for sure.
Yeah, and you plan on keeping like that too? You can't see yourself in the future going public?
Well, that's something like kind of interesting that we talk about a lot, but we're still trying to wait out and see what the industry kind of space and where it's going and what kind of the best path is for Good Buds.
Yep, good call. And at the end of the day, you mentioned you have outdoor, but you've also moved indoor, and that's where we got to first know you and do a couple trials and whatnot with our lighting. Growing from HPS to LEDs is a trick. It seems like you've nailed it right off the bat. Maybe tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So we typically are just cultivating under HIDs and using like a batwing reflector. So like very small grow rooms, small batches, and not a lot of room for a ton of HPSs. With the Matrix 630, we're able to get a lot more fixtures into the room, kind of without overloading our cooling system. And we're also able to get those fixtures really close to the plants and kind of get a much better, more even canopy than we're used to in our other rooms that we haven't switched to the 630 reds yet.
Yeah, you're mentioning too, and I guess that's the nice thing about LED technology. You can get closer to the plant. So for your lower ceilings, or like you have a room that we're looking at doing where you have that little dip in the room.
That's right.
You can bring in the light the light that applies better for that facility as opposed to your HPS and really one size fits all, supposedly, right?
Well, we're finding too, we're getting so many more like PPFD for the amount of cooling that we're still doing in the room, and the environment is consistent and it's better than under HPS. So like a lot of benefits that we've noticed from that transition.
Yeah, I can see eventually there's a lot of old school people that really love their HPS. They just have to have a little bit of open mind and realize that LEDs are the future, and they're going to have to change sooner or later. I even heard some people saying, some Health Canada reps saying that CMHs may even be not allowed into facilities just because of some of the breakage.
Well, I've heard too, more even before Health Canada does, that the insurance companies are going to do it.
Oh yeah, big call. No, it's true.
They've been busting their balls. I just know it might be coming. They've been they've been telling us like, oh, you got to get rid of these things.
Yeah, it's so true. Very good point.
Yeah, big insurance savings.
Yeah, but insurance, and even I know California is looking at going all LEDs by the end of 2023 or something like that. I know it's on the table. I don't know if it's passed yet, but I can see more and more countries and states and provinces going that route. As far as the licensing process, you were one of the first ones. Do you have any tidbits that you can give to somebody that's looking at getting licensed today besides don't do it?
Well, it depends. I think that if you're passionate about growing and excited to bring a unique product to market, then I would say the opposite. I would say that now is the time to do it, in the sense that the market's opening up to some more of like the kind of the cannabis that people want. Whereas before there was a lot in the assortment that was there because big companies, told distributors to put it there. Now things are there and are getting replenished because customers are buying them. So if you're a cannabis cultivator out there who grows great products, then I would say it's never been a better time, because that's what everybody is buying. And it's a great opportunity to kind of make that move. Alternatively, if it's something that you're not super passionate about and, like thinking about releasing something not super exciting, then I would definitely absolutely say that it's not the time to make that move, because there's a big supply of stuff that people don't want, but a very big undersupply of stuff that people do want.
Yeah, so true. And we're seeing it with some of the big players having to shut down greenhouses and divest of some assets. They just went for quantity as opposed to quality, and doesn't matter what business you're in, quality usually wins out as long as you do things the right way. I have a question here from Matt Sparrow. Tyler, do you increase terp counts in your LED rooms?
Yeah, so I don't have a score to verify it, but I did notice that the terp profile was dramatically different and in a positive way in the LED room that we did run. The latest one that we just ran, we haven't got any results yet. I was just telling Ryan before the interview that we just bucked it down from the dry room yesterday. So looking forward to some exciting results from that room. But the very first one that was, I would say, more experimental, because we didn't get to introduce the lights until a little later in the grow. Dramatic difference in the terp profile, and like I would say it was a very positive difference. We were seeing a lot more of like the minor terpenes that were getting kind of expressed as high of a level, usually kind of really coming through on the nose. So definitely awesome results on the terps.
Good stuff. Good question. Matt Sparrow, also an Aelius family member. Go check out Matt at Grow Cannabis. He has some good content. And if you need a quilt, get a hold of Matt as well too. The certified organic. I know Fraser Valley can certify you. I don't know if you can technically be certified organic, but you're definitely trying to push that realm of growing with living soil. For those that are scared of growing with living soil and are used to nutrients, can you tell us a couple of the comparisons? Have you tried both? Why did you go with living soil?
Yeah, so we're certified for our indoor and our outdoor cannabis, and also our extraction, like all of our cannabis extracts. We're VOPA certified organic. So that's it's kind of like almost like a Health Canada 2.0 of organic, where you kind of just record every single thing you do and make sure that it works within their program. But it's definitely like, it's not one that I know that can maybe apply internationally. We're not allowed to, for example, use it in Ontario, but it's definitely like a great certification body. And, they definitely hold us to a really good organic regard. And as for why we use it, the change that we've found in cultivating our strains in living soils and like using kind of organic methods is something that kind of gets communicated right into the bud. Like the bud has almost a different personality when we're cultivating in the living soils. And as those living soils develop and get like kind of a better like biozone and like rhizosphere going cycle after cycle, we actually see dramatic improvements in the bud structure. And even like I would call it the bud personality. So like how that bud starts to express itself, whether it's like more dense or a little more foxtaily, or maybe it's a little bit less larvae, but like we're seeing dramatic differences in just the qualities of the bud as we go cycle after cycle through the living soils.
All right, and we had a question too in regards to living soil. How many times can you use it before having to sort of reignite it?
So we amend it every single cycle, but amending it isn't like tossing it or anything. What that means is like, we're pulling out root balls and we're putting in certain things that like will kind of improve the soil to reuse again. So that will be things like steer manure or other organic inputs, maybe some feather meal. We just kind of stir it into the top there, but leave most of the lower zone completely undisturbed. And that lets the systems there kind of replenish what the plants need, but also lets them kind of continue their life cycle undisturbed in the lower levels of the soil. And we're on cycle like 9, I think, with some of those rooms. Barring unforeseen incident, like we wouldn't, like they just chill. So we wouldn't change them.
All right, good. And as far as cost goes versus nutrients, similar, a little more, a little less? Don't talk about it.
All I would say is since we started doing it, it was, quite expensive. And since we've been continuing to kind of dial it, it is getting to a point where it is going to be infinitely less expensive, in the sense that now that we are just amending these beds, we don't ever change over our substrate. Like it just chills.
Oh,
right?
great.
Like, so if you think of that, you think about every pot, unless you're, banging out that root ball and taking that Pro Mix back and reusing it to fill your next pots, like that costs money over years and years, and ours just chill. So, and then we're finding too that, we're getting most of our rooms actually to like a strictly just water regime. So we'll amend them and then we water them with water until we harvest.
It seems like you got the commercial part down and it takes time, like I said, big capital outlay at the beginning. It seems like living soil might be the way to go for some home growers, right? We just want to add water per se.
Absolutely. And the best part about living soil is that it's kind of like it's an investment of the grower. So you build that living soil. It's not going to be an expensive money investment, but the time you put into that living soil, cultivating it over and over again, it's going to kind of continue to build and continue to evolve into a better medium for your plants. So for home growers that kind of want to continue to dial their technique and improve the quality of what they're growing, it's a great way to be able to do that year over year. And you don't have to spend a lot of money, but you do have to put in the time and the attention. But it starts to surprise you because you get this cool life form under there doing awesome stuff for your cannabis. And it's pretty cool. I would definitely recommend it for home growers.
Good stuff. And speaking of end product, what do you have on the shelf nowadays in BC? And do you have any plans on bringing some of that stuff out east?
Yeah, for sure. So we've got some mango taffy that just actually hit shelves in Ontario recently, which we're quite excited about. We were pushing that strain for a while, and unfortunately, it was in the warehouse longer than we would have liked, but it finally got out there to store. So we're really excited for people to try that product. And then we're introducing 2 new ones this fall. The Glurangutan, which is a Harambe back cross that we pheno hunted here ourselves at Good Buds out of about like 10,000 different seeds. So we're super excited about that strain. Super piney, like 4 or 5% terps, and really strong total THC too. And then our other strain we're doing is called Dosey Melon. And that one's a do-si-dos watermelon Skittles cross. And again, real high THC and like an amazing fruity kind of tropical punch profile. So excited about those two strains coming in hot.
Good stuff. Well, I noticed David McDonald, another Aelius family member, love Good Buds hash and hash rosin and a few pre-rolls. Wow. David's nice. I think David, correct me if I'm wrong. I think his handle on Instagram is Hempy Chef. He's doing some LED testing on some Canadian companies. Big supporter of the Canadian LED companies, and I know he's got he's a grower at a local LP out here. Speaking of expansion, do you see yourself expanding more locally, or do you see yourself possibly franchising? What are the plans in the future for Good Buds?
Yeah, one thing that we're definitely excited about doing is a little bit of kind of upgrades at our current facility. We've been really stoked with what we've been seeing out of the Matrix 630 Reds, and kind of see a lot of opportunity for us in that sense, kind of upscaling now our facility to be able to kind of deliver the same level as we can commercially with our product. And then I think the next step is actually kind of going out and checking out some other great grows, because there's a lot of really awesome micros coming into the space. And we're really excited about working with them, whether it's in like a co-packing capacity or a purchase capacity, to just kind of keep getting great micro and craft, especially organic craft flower to the market under the Good Buds brand, or, kind of working with Good Buds.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, because you are a processor. Have you been approached by any of these micros looking for people, or outdoor growers looking for you to process their stuff?
Yeah, and it's definitely it's always a tough conversation, because it's never an easy thing to do. It's usually pretty complex, but it's something that we keep working on, because as the market evolves, we see the role of the micro is kind of like essential to the the landscape of the cannabis industry, because they're going to be bringing in the unique IP. They're going to be able to kind of change up the menus and run with tastes in a way that we think a lot of the big companies are just never really going to get there. So that's who we're kind of interested in working with and positioning with, for being able to kind of grow Good Buds influence, so to speak, with the community. Yeah,
and at the end of the day, they're an extension of your arm too. So if you bring them, you really have to do some good R&D.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that wouldn't come out without like a nice visit and a taste test, to say the least.
yeah, no, exactly. Well, thanks, Tyler. I think we crossed off. We went over our time again. Very informative. Love to have you back. Say hi to Alex, Forrest, and Alicia. Great people over at Good Buds. You are doing great things over there. And thanks for this. This ends our mini series for the commercial. So I'm glad you were the last one on here. It's getting better, easier for us as well too. We're definitely going to continue this down the road. I don't know when, but 100% we'd love to have you back.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan, and thanks, Candace, for setting this up too. Really appreciate you guys, and thanks for everything over there at Aelius. We love it. Keep up
good stuff, Tyler. Keep doing what you're doing, and remember, everybody, even though this ends the series, always ask yourself, what's above your plants? Ciao for now, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.